Welcome back to Untitled Label, where we strive for greatness through optimization. Before we get into today's video, I want to take a second and say thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing these videos. It definitely helps the channel grow, definitely goes a long way, as I always say. And if you do enjoy this content, consider subscribing if you haven't done so before. As always, make sure you check out Untitled Label Clothing, untitledlabelclothing.com for the latest apparel, pins, and accessories that we have to offer. I actually have something really cool in the works. We're actually talking to a fellow friend that is into motorcycles, all that good stuff. So stick around for something that might be really cool. The last video, if you haven't checked out, it's gonna be right here. Make sure you check that out. It's about my R6, something that I do really enjoy. I might be getting rid of it soon, maybe, who knows. But definitely check out that video. And with that said, let's get into today's video. But John, where's the reviews for the electronics? So let me give you guys an update. I'm working on 2 sponsored products right now. They are on the way, but they're coming from, I think, probably out of the country. So it's taking me a little bit of time for me to actually get these products to review. Once I get them, I'll be reviewing them. Another thing that I'm working on is possibly an upgrade to the home office setup. I want to get possibly a new laptop, but we shall see. This laptop that I have is going to be going to a good cause, but we might have to step it up. So we shall see what ends up happening. So when I first got started with YouTube, one of the first things I wanted to focus on was my profession, what I do for a job, which that is being a field service engineer for a biotech company. One of the perks that I did mention in my video, which you can also check out, is traveling. It's definitely something that I enjoy, I love to do, and having this job has opened that door for me in so many ways. So I want to share some of the benefits that come with being a field service engineer and traveling and being on the road. The video is going to be broken up into several different topics that go into being on the road and traveling and all that good stuff. So first thing we're going to get into is going to be airline miles. So for me, I have to fly around the country, definitely, to different cities and get my work done. Different types of field service engineers, they might only be local. For me, I actually do have to travel out of state occasionally. So with that comes a lot of airline miles. So your first thing you're going to want to do is create like any kind of major airline that you're going to be using a lot of. For me, being in Houston, I have United. That's the main hub here, flying out of IAH. So I have a United account and I use United as often as possible. And that helps me rack up a lot of miles. And with those miles, I use those miles to go on vacation. So that's definitely one perk that you might want to consider if you're going to be a field service engineer and traveling very often. The next 2 are kind of in a similar category, I would say. It's going to be rental cars. So if you're flying somewhere to a new city, you're going to need a rental car to get around, to get to your customer site. So another thing that I do is I have multiple actual travel accounts with rental car companies, because I've noticed one thing. On the East Coast, I use Enterprise a lot. On the West Coast, I think I use Hertz a lot. So you might want to have a couple different ones, but try to stick to one if you can and just rack up those miles, those points. So whenever you do go on vacation or you do have to use a rental car for yourself for personal reasons, bam, you got those points and then it's less money out of your pocket. So that's another perk about being a field service engineer and traveling and being on the road. Continuing on with the points game, hotels. I mean, if you're on the road, you have to stay somewhere, right? So another thing to consider is making a membership account with any local hotel or major hotel chain that you're going to be using very often. With that, again, same thing. You're going to be racking up those points. And then whenever, let's say you want to take a break, you want to travel for yourself, you can stay at a hotel for free using points. So this is something that's also very nice when it comes to being a field service engineer. The points game is crazy. I want to say actually shout out to some of the older gentlemen that have put me onto this that I work with. We have Chuck, we we have Todd, we have Jesse. These guys have been doing this for years and they're very experienced, and I've learned about the points game coming from them. So I'm just trying to share that information with you guys, and if you're interested in being a field service engineer, that's definitely something you want to get into. Another perk about being a field service engineer is the fact that you're gonna just be seeing new cities. I want to say like at that sky, by the way. I was in the Navy. I traveled a lot. I saw different countries. However, being a field service engineer for the company that I'm working for, I have been to more cities within the last 2 years than I've been to in my whole life. And that's insane. It can be a little bit overwhelming. Let's say a lot of people, they're not made for travel. Not everyone's cut out for this job. But if you are, if it is something that you do enjoy, you want to travel, you want to see new places, you're going to see a lot of cities, depending on your company, of course. My company, it's kind of great actually, because I have the opportunity to travel outside of my region. I'm going to be taking a trip to Boston pretty soon, which that's outside of my region. But if they need help and I have the time to offer to help, then I can go out there, check out the city, do my work, but still enjoy myself. And with seeing new cities, obviously there's food, there's the people, there's so much that goes into it. So I don't see why you wouldn't want to use that as a benefit. If you can time it correctly to where you're actually getting your job done and you still have time to venture out and explore a city, it's perfect. That's what I try to do whenever I'm on the road. It hasn't been happening so much lately because I have so much stuff going on with life in general. But beforehand, and it's gonna start picking back up again, I just try to knock out my work in the morning, do whatever I need to in the afternoon, and by the evening time, I still have time to, go out, see the city, talk to folks, and just enjoy the city while you're there. It's a crazy opportunity that you can travel on a company's dime. A lot of people don't take advantage of that, and that's one thing that you definitely should. Imagine being able to go to a city that you've never, like, for example, I was just in Atlanta last week, and then from Atlanta, I went to Charlotte. I have family in Charlotte. So imagine being able to travel somewhere where you can see your friends, family for free. Not necessarily free, you still have to work, get the work done, but it's not coming out of your pocket. So that's a great benefit that comes from being a field service engineer. Another benefit to being a field service engineer is the pay. You're still going to get paid regardless, but whenever you're traveling, for me, again, I'm basing this off of my experience. So depending on what company you work for, it might be different. But as soon as I leave the door going to work, I'm on the clock. So let's say I have a flight that's scheduled for 8 a.m. Once I leave my house at 8 a.m., I'm on the clock until, I get to my destination, do my work, whatever I need to do. So that's another thing to take into account. Another thing that's beneficial for me, for my company, is travel arrangements don't necessarily always go according to plan. So let's say you have a layover, something like that, to where your flight gets delayed for some reason. Guess what? I'm still on the clock. I'm still getting paid. So that's another thing to consider. Again, this is for my company. But anything that's out of your control time-wise that affects you getting to where you need to be, you're getting paid for. So if that means you're going to hit overtime sooner, that means you're going to get overtime sooner. So for anyone that's actually traveling outside of their area, think about that. Talk to your company, see if that's something that they do. If you don't know, I would definitely ask someone about that. Last but not least is just the networking opportunity that you get from just being able to travel. So one thing that I've learned is, and I try to actually engage with other people. I'm not a very social person. Again, this is why I have YouTube. YouTube's been helping me talk to people, just get myself out there more. But it's definitely helped me learn a lot about other people and just meet some really interesting people. I think one of the most interesting things, I was flying, I can't remember where I was flying from, but I was talking to a guy. He had a Navy jacket on, so I was like, all right, he's probably a Navy vet. I talked to him. He was an '06 actually. He worked at the Pentagon. It's insane. So I talked to him, and he sat next to me on the flight back to Houston, and we were just talking about his travel and what he's doing. He's in the nuclear program for some company or whatever. But I was just interesting to learn who he was and learn his story, you know? So that's another thing that you can do through travel, whether it be on the plane, whoever you're sitting next to, or just being out and about in a new city. Just network and talk to people. Again, Untitled Label, it's a brand, it's my brand. I'm going to get this thing out there as much as I can. And the best way I can do that is going to a new city and just talking to people and, hey, check out this Untitled Label pen, you know? Exactly. It's just a great way to grow whatever you're trying to do. Let's say you're into building cars. You can go to a new city, you can meet new people that are into cars, and then you can just network your butt off. So networking is probably by far, I think, in my opinion, the most priceless thing when it comes to being able to travel for work. The perks of being a field service engineer for a biotech company. It pays the bills, and at the same time, I can travel, I can see new places, I can network my butt off, and it's just a great opportunity that is offered through work. And you're not paying for it out of pocket necessarily. You want to do as much as you can through your employer, because at the end of the day, we all pay taxes, we all do this and that, we all have bills. So the more you can limit coming out of your pocket, the better. This is one thing that a lot of people in the Navy would say, get what you can. Well, wait, they get a lot out of you, so get what you can out of them, right? Don't get me wrong, I love my job, I love the company I work for, so it's not in a derogatory or harmful way, but at the same time, I'm gonna take advantage of all the opportunities that are offered to me. And if you're not doing the same thing for your job, you're missing out. Find out what kind of benefits they have, find out what kind of travel things they offer, just in general, man. Get in there, dig deep, talk to someone more experienced, talk to your HR, and see what they have to offer, because there's a lot of good things that companies have these days that a lot of people aren't taking advantage of. And me, I'm all about taking advantage of every opportunity I can get, especially if it means improving my lifestyle. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, you want to learn more about being a field service engineer, let me know in the comments below. I want to kind of talk to more people. I want to get more information about being a field service engineer out there, because again, I wanted to start this channel. It is based on me, but one of the things that I didn't know a lot about when I got out of the Navy is being a field service engineer at all. I knew I wanted to do that profession because it kind of tied into what I did in the Navy as far as working on, you know, electronics, all that good stuff. But I think not a lot of people really know the perks of being a field service engineer, you know? And if you like to travel, it's perfect. A lot of companies too, they do offer, if you're not going to be traveling outside of, let's say, your city per se, they do offer like a vehicle. I have a friend named Josh, and he has a company vehicle, so he uses that to get around, to get to his customer site. For me, my company, I have to travel sometimes outside of Houston. So with that said, they pay for my flight, they pay for my food, they pay for my lodging, they pay for my rental car. A lot of stuff is paid for whenever I travel outside of my hometown. So quick video, hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, again, hit that thumbs up, share with a friend. It definitely goes a long way. Untitled Label is growing a little bit at a time, and I love it. I love the support. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't been to untitledlabelclothing.com, Untitled Label Clothing, I did that backwards, Untitled Label Clothing, untitledlabelclothing.com. Make sure you do so. Cop yourself a pin, cop yourself some apparel that's on the website. Help support the channel. And with that said, I'll catch you on the next one.